Assassin. Current chairman. Current mayor. Current MP. Current councillors. Former mayor. Current workers and warriors. And of course to the members of the media. Greetings. You know, it is important that Comrade Mitchell is in the number at the end of the next election. When we sit down and we look at getting to 32 seats, Central Manchester is always in that 32 to get us into government. Always. And so you have a task to deliver this constituency to the People's National Party so we can become the government of Jamaica. And I want for you to take that job seriously. You know, I was coming down here, one of the neighborhood friend called me and he said, don't mention the lady the name because she loves when people talk about her and then something there, so just leave her outside and nobody mention her name, man at all. But it seems I couldn't have gone with herself before they reach. But I only have one thing to say about the current member of parliament. One thing. I'm not getting into our private affairs. But I heard recently where she was giving some reflections on her being ill and going to Andrews Memorial Hospital. Andrews Memorial. Listen, we're trying to give myself and we're still trying to draw you. I shall not be drawn out today. But she went to Andrews Memorial Hospital. And in her own words, she said she called the Minister of Health in order to get a bed at the university hospital. And I want for you to stop for a second and think about that. In order for you to get proper care in the health sector in Jamaica, you have to have connection to somebody that is in charge so you can call a minister. What about the rest of the people who cannot get up and call Dr. Tufton? What health care do they have access to? Country can run some. But before, I want to add some things to that. 4 years ago, just over 4 years ago, we went into an election and the Labour right them give me a backside. Backside, not a bad word, man. We don't have to look so. They give me a backside. And when they beat us up 4 years ago, 49 seats to our 14, they started behaving as if they thought that victory was a two-term victory by itself. That they can't lose the next one. They became arrogant, became complacent. We went to work. We started training and preparing for a rematch. I want you to understand what rematch is. Come 2025, some point this year, within the next 4 months, he is going to have to call a general election. And when he calls that general election, and we go to that rematch in central Manchester and in Jamaica, the Labour rights are going to get a beating. They must get a beating. They have to get a beating. And they're going to get a beating not because we're never try to win it for ourselves and just win it for winning's sake. But we want to win because it is when we win that the people of Jamaica are going to win. I hear a bag of argument about what is the cost for the budget. But let me run through some things. First they said we had no plans. I will say we are telling the plans until the budget debate because we know how to finger feel and we teeth them. When we put out the plans, them say, how do I go pay for those plans? Them get them little mouthpiece in the media to start saying, where is the budget for what you have said? Never in the history of Jamaica has an opposition party put out a budget. Never in the history of Jamaica. Never in the history of the world has an opposition party put out a budget. Holness was leader of the opposition for 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. Go back and check, he never put out no budget. Not one. You go into the budget debate and you speak to what your plans are if you become the government. That's what every party in opposition do. And all of a sudden, they want to come down to try and trick the people. And then when we cost the items, and we say the cost is $22 billion, Ms. Probox go to Parliament and say that if we implement that budget, that is going to bankrupt the country. Now hold on a second. $22.6 billion. And I'm going to go through the plans. 22.6. Cornwall Regional Hospital started out at $2 billion. Cornwall Regional Hospital is now at $26 billion. Then the Love Max. But if you take away 2 from 26, you have 24 left. Cornwall Regional Hospital budget overrun is more than what the policies that the PNP has proposed will cost. Then if Cornwall Regional will bankrupt the country, the PNP plan will bankrupt the country either. What is it that we have proposed? And I want to start with education. Because you understand the value of education. Education when people become better than parents. We have said that when you ask children to go to school and work hard, and they do that, and they stay out of trouble, and they achieve the grades to matriculate to university, poverty should not step in and take a deciding vote that they must go to university. So we have said the first child in every family that matriculates to a university in Jamaica will get a full scholarship from the next PNP administration. Lo and behold, when we say that, Darrell Vaz rolled up on Twitter, now called X, put up something that $1.5 million is the tuition. And if you multiply that by 1 million or so, you get $1.5 trillion. We have a set of thugs running the country. Darrell Vaz got school a big fight. Where in Jamaica would you have 1 million university spots? Where? Where in Jamaica would you have 1 million children going to university at the same time? The entire population from primary and secondary school is 400,000. From grade 1 all the way up to grade 12. So how would you get 1 million people going to university at the same time? We have a set of thugs running the country. And because they can get out articles, they try to confuse the public. So when you put forward something to benefit the people, they come and fight against it. And then they have people that that run with it, trying to confuse the public. Each year in Jamaica, and they come here tonight to mash them some lion, and we will put them on tired, you know. And we will put them on tired, because they're going to arguments when they talk up labor right tomorrow, they take it, beat them over their head. In Jamaica each year, 31,000 children are born. On average, 31,000 babies are born yearly. Which means that in grade 1, you're going to have 31,000 people. In grade 2, 31,000 people. In grade 3, 31,000 people. Unless some of them dead or they migrate, the number of children that are in grade 1 are the number that were born 6 years ago. It's a simple thing. 31,000. The Minister of Finance that went to Parliament that talked garbage used to be the Minister of Education. When she was Minister of Education and the CSEC results came out, 1 in every 5 Jamaican children passed 5 subjects to include maths and English, which you need in order to go to university. 1 in every 5. Which means that of the 30,000 children, only 6,000 out of it could possibly matriculate to university. She knows that. Members of the government are aware of that. But still they go out there and fight against the scholarship for poor people because they want to keep the people down. Of the 6,000 that matriculate to go to university, not all of them are the first in their family. Some of them are the second one, so they wouldn't qualify for the scholarship. Some are the third. They are aware of this. But still, they are trying to deceive the public. Well, no matter what they want, they could have balled till them blue. Poor people picnic that matriculate to university will get a full scholarship so they can go and educate themselves for the highest level. Me alone fit on Dr. Line. Where would I be? With the mama who had the domestic helper for the father when they down workhouse, when they call prison board. Where would I be if it's the policy with them have around the country? Regardless of where people are coming from, regardless of circumstances in the home, if the child works hard and matriculate or earn their way to university, poverty not tell them, say they're not going to. When I was going to school, I used to get $60 to go to school. $60. I have 42, I'm not old enough, I want to do it. At 2,000, when I find school, I stress don't make it up. It was $20 for the bus fare from Bamboo to go and claim out of Frankfurt. At $20 to go back home, so I had $20 for lunch. When they give a break, we don't run up and down and play, so we don't remember say we're hungry. When lunchtime come, I went buy a sugar bowl because it was the biggest thing we never have out there. And then we don't offer to buy my friend their lunch. Because the change when we get back, they need about $3 more to buy one big Joe box drink. So we don't offer to buy for them food, so we take $1 for this and $1 for that, $1 for that one, so we couldn't buy anything. A long time we are style. Right now, if you offer me a sugar bun, me a hear an argument. Because we hate sugar bun too much, we eat when we in a gospel. And when we come back after lunch, within half an hour, when the physics teacher reach on the board and start goes up, me start goes up. Yeah, nigga right is setting and go and sleep because of the old sugar in the body. And it is under those circumstances that most of us went to school. We have realized that, and we have put forward a proposal that every needy child in school will get a warm, nutritious meal, regardless of who they are, and the government is fighting against that. If they're fighting them black and blue, the next PLP administration is there to ensure that every poor kid in a school can eat a proper meal every day. That's what never make nice about it. 400,000 people in a school. It's not everything they need. It can be a tree in a school and then they need no lunch. Can we give them money for go to school? Me used to get $60 and my daughter get $2,000 a day now. I wonder what she do with money. Out of that 400,000, you have some that are in prep school that don't need nobody to give them picnic lunch. They go to school for 190 days. It works out to just over 200,000 children, 260,000 that will need a warm meal per day. Currently, PATH contribution is $280 per day, and we are going to move that to $400. What it will require is $9 billion more than what the current school feeding program is. And this government is going to tell us that we cannot spend $9 billion to feed the children of this country. Well, the reason why the people are going to vote out Labour is so that something new and something different can take place. When people figure out school, because people poor and time hard, people go to school one shift. This one go Monday, that one go Tuesday, that one go Wednesday, that one go Thursday. We not talk about shift when you go morning and evening, I mean you skip some day. You go Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Because parents can't afford all 5 days. Because they don't have the money to give them transportation. The PNP has proposed that we will put a right program in place to give a subsidy to 20,000 poor children so that they can get transportation to go to school. And that is what this government is fighting against. When it comes to housing, most of us as politicians, when we are walking, somebody says to us, you have to go over the yard. A stalwart that, you have to go over the yard. We walk and go to the yard, and we go in the house and we greet them and we say, how you doing, comrade this or comrade that. We say, thank you for your support over the years and we look forward to your support in the future. And when we do that, we have to go and we keep going, we're going to take fast and look up. And when we look up, we look straight in the sky, that God Almighty, some of the people living under the deplorable condition. Time come now for us to really deal with the housing problem in Jamaica. And it's not going to fix by this amount of people in one division waiting on a prime minister to come home with one house per constituency. That cannot fix the housing problem. One dege house can't fix the housing problem. The next People's Administration government is going to revolutionize housing. And this is how we are going to do it. First thing, the $11.4 billion that they take out of the NHD now to put in the consolidated for the country's budget, we are going to stop that. Because them boast no new taxes while taking $11 billion from NHD to put in the budget. They boast no new taxes while selling revenues into the future for normal money. Three-card trick. Anybody who's thinking about that, three-card trick. We are going to ensure that we recapitalize the National Housing Trust, meaning that the lands that are in the country, we are going to give the NHD land for the money that they would have lost over the last 11 years, so that the NHD can be asset rich and have some assets to their name. What that will allow us to do is that anybody buying an NHD house under a PNP administration going forward, if the house is valued at $15 million, and the land cost is $3 million, you will pay $12 million for that house because you will not pay for the value of the land. That means from day one, you already have some assets to your name. From day one, you already have the value of the land to your name. That's one. Two, we are going to ensure that we put back the loan portfolio to the NHD that carry on a commercial bank. We're taking it back to the National Housing Trust. Yes. The discretionary rate that was given to public sector workers and to members of the disabled community that they take away, we are going to give them back the preferential rate. For young persons who are 35 and under, who is seeking to buy a house, if the house value $20 million, they say to you, you need 5% deposit, that's $1 million. We are going to take $1 billion out of the 11 that is going to stay with the NHD and put it in a fund that those young persons can get a grant, not a loan, they have to pay back, of $500,000 towards the deposit of their home. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. For those of you who are out there and you don't have the deposit that is required, you don't have the pay stub that is required. My farmers, who you make your money but you don't have a pay slip to show, you can benefit from what we call rent to own. Yes. Meaning that when we build that NHD house and you see it and say you like it, you can come and we put you in the house and you go and pay rent. Once you show us over a 6 months period that you are able to pay your rent on time and pay the full amount, we will allow you to convert that rent to mortgage so you move from being a tenant to being the owner of that house. When the leader of the party put forward our proposals, the Prime Minister run the Parliament 2 days after and said he's going to move the loan amount from NHD from 7.5 million to 9. Not a problem, we don't complain with him. But what does that do? You don't have to be an economist, right? You don't need to be an economist. If we have limited amount of something and one heap of people want it, what to the price? It goes up. When things scarce, does that happen? The price go up. When you have one heap of something want to the price, it will go down. When you increase the loan amount from NHD that people can borrow, what you do is allow those people to go there and demand a house now. And therefore the price for the house keep on going like that amount of people reach. That does not fix the problem that is there. To fix the problem, you have to increase the supply of houses. The next PNP government is going to build 50,000 housing units within the first term of our next administration. And these are starter units, we are going to drop the price at $10 million. I cannot pass $10 million. So if you are get 9 from NHD, if you are at 35, you get 500,000 for your deposit. You take out land cost out of that, the $9 million loan can buy the house. You can then decide how many rooms you want to add to it. If you want to live in a big old castle for your business that. If you want to keep it as is and your business that, every man must decide what kind of house they want to live in from there. So. But we are going to ensure that you have that start so you can own a home and live in dignity. This government went to Ruthven Road in New Kingston and they built houses through NHD for $30 million. That is not what the National Housing Trust was developed for. When I was growing up, my granny told me, say you can't stay from cow back and cuss cow. You can't benefit from NHD and cuss Michael Manley. The National Housing Trust is the legacy of Michael Joshua Manley. I come forward and put a proposal in agriculture. I said to them, we are going to put a dedicated fund in place to deal with our farmers. When know we have a problem? We have a problem because people think of farming as what you do when you can't do nothing else. When you're in a country, they tell you that if you feel like you can't go on further, then you have to do farming. So they think of agriculture as what you do when you can't make it otherwise. And that is causing a problem. We know we deal with farming. The National Housing Trust is a specific fund for housing. TEF is a specific fund for tourism. NHF is a specific fund for health. Universal Service Fund is a specific fund for internet connectivity. All of these funds exist. But when you put forward a proposal for a fund for agriculture, then start financing. When we have done the research, they have asked where that will come from. When we look at the food importation bill in Jamaica, under this government, the food importation bill has moved from 834 million US dollars to 1.4 billion US dollars, an increase of 70%. When we look at the taxes that they currently charge on it for the last 10 years, it averaged 707 million US dollars. We are going to take 2.5% of that, and we are going to put it into that dedicated fund, the Agricultural Development Fund. It's not a new tax. They have some little armchair expert that they make run out there. All the PNP want to do this and it will make food get more expensive. Let us go back to demand and supply. When we had Beryl the other day, after Beryl, how much will we pay for a pound of tomato, a pound of bell pepper? How much will we pay? $1,000. At that time, a pound of bell pepper and tomato in the supermarket, not the farm gate, in the supermarket in the US and in Canada was for less than $1 US. When the importers carry it to Jamaica, they buy it and clear it for less than $300, but they still sell it at $1,000. Since people start back planting, what we hear going down is going on in St. Elizabeth. Tomato now is at $10, $20 a pound because we have increased local production. To deal with the cost of living crisis, we have to focus on local production. Imported food is not the solution for the people of Jamaica. But they don't like these arguments, because some people inside the parliament who sit down on the government side as MP are the ones who are importing some of these items. So they don't like these arguments. That dedicated fund is going to ensure that we can buy some tractors and plow and put them into the production areas so the farmers can get help with land preparation. That dedicated fund is going to put some of the money at the PC bank so that farmers can get help with funding for agriculture. That dedicated fund is going to put some of the money into building out storage so that when your things come in, you can get storage and you don't have to lose it and for it to go to waste. It is that dedicated fund that is going to transform local agriculture. When it comes down to premier lasting, we are going to ensure that the proof, the burden of proof, is on the person that steals the things then. If I plant breadfruit, I don't have my name right on the breadfruit then. So when a man thief it, I ask me to prove that my breadfruit is hard, this proves that mine. We are going to allow the defendant, the person that we catch with it, to have to prove that he is the farmer that produced them or shows where he buy them from. And if he cannot show us where he buy them from, then he's going to be guilty as charged. And when we find them guilty, we are going to put premier lasting under the Proceeds of Crime Act so that we can sell what them have and give back the money to the farmers so they can start producing again. We have put forward some proposals that we're going to put a flat rate in place for NWC for our seniors. And that the Prime Minister fight against them. And that the man fight against them. People who have worked already and retired and life hard down on them. So my time all the pension late. And we are putting something in place for them to get a flat rate on their NWC bill, and even that the Prime Minister of the country is fighting against. When they can fight till it blue, the next PNP administration is going to put a flat rate in place for the National Water Commission for our pensions. We don't have to talk about labor right now, we have enough ideas to talk about as to how we're going to move this country forward. After 9 years in government, I've given themselves 300% increase in salary, and I give minimum wage more than $1,000. They don't tell the country that they must choose Jamaica because it is now your time. After 9 years in government, and choosing themselves for the entire time, they don't tell you that it is your turn now. After 9 years in office, and all the abuses that they have carried out on the people of this country, they now come to tell you on the 9th hour that you must choose them and continue suffer under them. Well, time come now, and the people of Jamaica are ready to choose change. It is now time for the People's National Party. So we have some work to do, comrades. We have to get out there into the communities and talk to the people. We have a teacher retention strategy that will extend to the public sector for them to benefit from concession based on years of service, for them to get discount on the amount they pay back to the Students' Loan Bureau based on them staying here and educating our children. We will ensure that those persons that have to use Students' Loan Bureau to go to university, that we do income contingent repayment, meaning that you only pay a percentage of what you earn as your loan payment. And if you're not employed, we will suspend your payment with no repercussion to you until you get employment. We have sat down, we have done the research, and we are ready to govern this country. So I want to appeal to the comrades that are here. Do not be distracted. For the last 2 years, in every single poll conducted by Don Anderson, the People's National Party has led in that poll, in every single one, for the last 2 years. Do not be distracted by them. They are going to come now to Patch Road. They're going to come now to try and offer you a little thing for your vote. But stay resolute, stay ready, because we have been training for this rematch, and the rematch is nigh. In the last election, and this is my final point, in the last election, if you look at the votes, constituency by constituency, only one of the new JLP MPs polled more than the losing JLP candidate in 2016. The rest of them won because PNP did not come out to vote. Yeah. Even in this constituency, she won. Look at the numbers. She got less than what St. Armin Barley got the election before. They won because PNP did not come out to vote. And they get hype and they can get to them head. Well, I want to finish with the little scripture because I know the preacher there. And I tell them about Brother Joe. And And the scripture says that the devil was roaming, going to and fro. I suspect he was seeking who he could conquer. And God said, have you considered my servant Job? Oh, to be recommended by God Almighty himself. God said, have you considered my servant Job? And the devil said, it's because you are protecting. Remove the protection and make us see what going in it. God said, all right, I have faith. I'm going to remove it, but don't, you can't take his life. Job started losing everything. Coal, cattle gone, riches gone, everything gone. No other person that his wife is the closest person to him. Turn to him and say, why don't you just cuss God and die? That's how some persons are, you know. Yes. That's how some persons are. They wonder why we still in a PNP up here. Yes. Why you don't just cuss the city and God and go your business. Look how them treat you. Look how all they want to tell life while you did and what you're doing and this city here. Why you don't keep up on God and blessing. But you see, some of them are if believers. They are PNP if this goes their way. They are PNP if that goes their way. They are PNP if nobody don't call on them there. They are PNP if nobody don't tell life on them. And then there are some of us who are even though believers, even though he slay me, yet will I trust him. I wonder if I have some even though PNP in here tonight. It don't matter what is going on. I have been through enough to know that he is enough for me. On my appointed time. Thank God. On my appointed time. On my appointed time. I'm going to wait until my change comes. The Lord is love. Listen.
We say enough respect and many thanks to our general secretary. Don't leave Congress. That's not how we do our business.
5 more minutes.
Don't leave. We say many thanks to our general secretary, Dr. Dayton Campbell. I now invite Comrade Yvette Powell from the Royal Flat Division to give a token to Dr. Campbell.
Covered? Oh, I'm so tall, I'm sorry. On behalf of the coverage here and the member of the coverage at the table, we just want to thank you for coming, and from that informative speech, we just want to thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Yvette Powell. We now invite Comrade Ryan Waters to give the vote of thanks. Please, Comrade Ryan. Right. Step up, Sir Ryan. Yes, vote of thanks.
Thank you very much. Comrades, as we bring the curtain down on this wonderful conference, it is important that we give thanks, not just to the Lord, but to the organizers. And I want to thank the individual and executive of Royal Flat who have put together such a wonderful conference, led by our chairman, Comrade Dayton. Thank you. I must also thank quickly our two chairmen. First, Comrade Blake, who led the first session. Thank you very much, and of course, Comrade Mitchell, no stranger to this aspect of the political affairs, for leading the public session in such a dynamic way. I also want to thank our councillors, present and former, and I want to say a big up to the current councillors. We have an excellent caliber of councillors at the Manchester Municipal Government. And I thank them for how they spoke, how they delivered themselves, and I'm proud to be a Manchesterian. I also want to thank Comrade June and Comrade Lynn, who gave us some charge earlier and they have to leave for other engagements. Big thank you to our guest speaker, our Gen Z Comrade Campbell. I always listen to him and I always defend him and say to people, let him make him try the fight. Right? And we thank him for tonight for removing the veil of the government's policy. And on the contrary, show us the validity of the PNP's proposal for making Jamaica and Jamaicans better. We thank you, sir. Our DJ, thank you so much for the music, your selections, and your time in your spot. We thank